Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, your go-to podcast for all things green and growing. I'm Ben, your allotment guide, and here to help you cultivate your garden and your passion for plants. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, this podcast is for you. Each episode will dig into tips, tricks and techniques to make your garden and allotment thrive. From planting, sowing and growing, we will share all the tips and advice. We will also have regular episodes talking about what we have been up to on the allotment. So sit back, grab a brew and enjoy today's episode. Hey everyone and welcome back to Gardening with Ben. Well, it's Thursday morning and, well, if you're listening straight away, it's Thursday morning, that it is. But if you're listening later, obviously it's maybe not be Thursday. But it is Thursday. And yeah, we're getting ever closer to that weekend and I can't wait. I'm starting to write my list, starting to think about what I'm going to be doing down on the allotment and planning my weekend out down there. And I said I'd talk about my daily reel of the day, what I usually post, and yesterday's, what went up last night. Wow, that is a good one. And the question on the reel is, do you share your homegrown produce with your friends and family? Now, certain stuff, yeah, I'll share that endlessly, like my lettuce, my rhubarb, my apples, everything apart from strawberries and sweet corn. I won't share them with anyone, even if it's my mum, even if it's my sister. I won't share my strawberries and sweet corn with anyone because they are my two favourite things that I grow on the allotment. And you can never grow enough sweet corn and you can never grow enough strawberries. Like I say, I've got 200 plants on my allotment, so I get plenty of strawberries, but I don't share them because they're absolutely delicious. And the thing is, with like strawberries and sweet corn, once you've grown them, they've gone. If you get me, like you'll eat them pretty much straight away and get them all eaten. But yeah, there's certain stuff like you will share loads of it with family and friends, and sometimes they'll have enough of it. They'll think, I hope he don't fetch me any more courgettes. Because you can certainly have too many courgettes and people get fed up of them after a while. But certain stuff I will keep for myself. I don't share some of it out, obviously, because it is quite expensive in shops and supermarkets, certain stuff. So I'm pretty much one for keeping it for myself and enjoying it because I've put all the hard work into doing it. And yeah, why not enjoy the rewards from the allotment? So, what are we going to be talking about in today's podcast? What's today's podcast theme of the day? So, today's podcast theme is, why should we start an allotment? Why should we start growing our own produce? Yes, we've not talked about this actually. This is one topic we've not actually talked about. We've talked about like who I am and why I got started and everything, but why should we start growing our own produce? And yeah, when you go to the supermarket, you'll find certain stuff pretty cheap to buy. Like your tomatoes, you'll get a load of tomatoes for £1 or something like that. But yeah, loads of stuff are pretty cheap. Certain stuff, fair enough, they're not cheap. Like your blackberries, your rhubarb, your courgettes, your marrows, your pumpkins. There's certain stuff out there that are quite expensive, and more stuff is getting more and more expensive, especially like the fruit and vegetables. They're getting quite expensive to purchase now. So why should we start growing an allotment? Like, I got my allotment, and the first things that I planted on my allotment was my rhubarb plants, which I've got 16 crowns in of rhubarb. I've got my plum tree, I've got my apple tree, which is a cooking apple tree, and I've got some eating apple trees. And yeah, those were the first things that I put in, and my raspberries as well. And they pay for my allotment in themselves because cooking apples are so expensive to buy. And like I say, rhubarb is so expensive to buy. Like, you'll go to the supermarket and there'll be like 3 sticks for £2. And you think rhubarb's one of the easiest things to grow out, a lot of them. But yeah, it's so expensive to buy. So the reasons why you should start an allotment or growing your own in your garden, I believe, is that yes, it can be more expensive in some cases. Some cases can be more expensive, but some cases it can be hell of a lot cheaper. Like, for a packet of lettuce seeds, it'll cost you like 50 pence, and you'll get 1,000 seeds in there. Most of them, literally all of them, will germinate. Lettuce seeds are easy to germinate, and they take no trouble in growing whatsoever. So you can have so many lettuce from just 50 pence, and it won't hardly cost you a penny. Maybe it'll cost you a bit for the compost and for the water. Depends if you how much you pay for your water and stuff like that. But certain stuff, it's worth it. Like, my allotment for a year costs me £100 a year. My allotment costs, and that includes water as well. So if it didn't include water, it'd probably be about £60. But council allotments are a bit more money than private allotments. But but yeah, we've got we pay about £100 of it, and like I said, out of them plants what I grow, my rhubarb, my cooking apples, my plums, my raspberries, I make my money back on my allotment. I don't sell them. We're not allowed to sell produce on the allotment. That is one of the rules. You're not allowed to make profit from selling stuff on the allotment. So we don't. I don't sell anything personally. But to have bought that fruit from the supermarket, wow, it had cost me absolutely loads. And with the amount of blackberries I've been having off and my raspberries, I get so much, it pays for it over and over again. So it does work out a lot cheaper in certain aspects, certain stuff. And obviously, some other stuff might not be as cheap. Like, if a crop fails and it doesn't do very well, you've wasted a lot of money. And yeah, I grow my potatoes in boxes, which uses a lot of compost, and the compost is a lot of money to purchase. And that'll probably be cheaper to buy potatoes from the shop than it is to grow them in boxes. But they taste fresher. The organic, you know what you've put into that to grow it. You know all the chemicals that have gone in, which have been nothing, probably. Like me, I don't put no chemicals in my growing. And yeah, they taste absolutely delicious, so much better. And obviously, growing your own produce as well, you are outside in the fresh air. Like, if I lived in a house and I got my own garden or greenhouse, I'd be in there every night just potting up and growing stuff like that. But unfortunately, I've got an allotment. I live in a flat, so I've not got a greenhouse or a garden. But I'd love to be in my garden all night, just like pottering around and potting stuff up and taking cuttings and growing stuff and experimenting and streaming all the time while I'm in my garden. But unfortunately, I can't do that. But there's so much benefit out of going in the garden and being in the fresh air. And I've talked about it in like my mental health podcasts, that the you there it is proven that when you putting your hands in the soil and you're reaching in, and there's something in it what gives you endorphins to make you feel better and more happy in being out in the garden. And obviously, there's no sounds around. All you're hearing is the birds, the planes, maybe a bit of traffic or something like that. But where my allotment is absolutely peaceful, and there's no traffic around. It's absolutely fantastic. And the only noises around are the birds. And it's just so nice to switch off and be at peace, nothing to disturb you. If you want to, turn your mobile phone off while you're there, or put it on do not disturb or silence, and you've got nothing around you, and you've got no worries, nobody disturbing you. You're just there enjoying doing what you want yourself. So there is so much benefit into growing your own produce. And if you aren't growing your own produce, I do recommend it. Like, people say, oh, I've not got much of a garden, I can't grow much in my garden because it's not very big, or I only live in a flat with a little balcony, I can't grow anything on my balcony. Yes, you can. There's so many opportunities out there if you've got a small garden, or if you've got a balcony to grow stuff on your balcony. There's so many different methods of growing produce and getting the best of it. The only person who says they can't grow anything in their flat is me, because I've not got a balcony. But yeah, there's so much benefit to growing, and starting an allotment, or starting a kitchen garden, or starting your no-dig bed. But if you're thinking about doing it, give it a go. I'm always around to share tips and advice and ask questions too. So if you've got any questions, feel free to drop me a question on Instagram. And I've started putting my links to my other social media in the description now. So if you're not following me on any of the other social medias, please do give me a follow. And I post different stuff on different platforms. Like, I'm sharing daily questions on YouTube, I'm sharing blogs on YouTube and on Facebook. But yeah, I'm sharing so much at the moment, and the content just keeps on coming out at the moment. I'm just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. One day I will be famous. One day you'll see me on Gardener's World. Well, one can only hope. But that is the reason why we should start an allotment. The mental health, the taste of the produce, being out in the fresh air, switching off and enjoying being at peace, and obviously the fresh produce and the delicious taste of it once you have harvested it. So if you've enjoyed this podcast, everyone, please do give it a like. Please do leave a comment below, and let me know as well. Send me a message and let me know if you share your produce with anybody. Are you like me? You save all your strawberries and your sweet corn, or do you have a favourite one that you save but you don't share with anyone? Let me know. So until next time, everyone, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Gardening with Ben. I hope you have found some useful tips and inspiration for your own gardening and allotment journey. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a new episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love for you to leave a review and share the podcast with fellow gardening enthusiasts. Your support helps us grow this community and continue bringing you great content. You can also follow us on social media on every platform called Gardening with Ben for daily gardening tips and updates. Happy gardening, and until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben.